2017 marks the 25th Silver Jubilee anniversary for Medina Creative Housing. And we wanted to memorialize this momentous event with a video highlighting accomplishments, lives touched, and lives changed. I'd like to personally thank our past and present supporters, without whom this journey could never have happened.
There were 5 of us that were asked to be a part of the Medina Creative Housing Board. We were asked by the MRDD board. We think that that came about by the fact that those that were institutionalized in the state were going to be released, and they had to find homes for them and situations for them to live in. It was a challenge for us to begin to form a new corporation. None of us really knew how to form a corporation, but over the time period of probably a year and a half, we got baptized pretty readily. We realized that we had a great opportunity to make an impact on a lot of people's lives. The vision that we had for the board was really find affordable housing for those that were institutionalized, those that had never been in society, and to give them the opportunity to become part of a community. The good thing about this was that we had a board member, and her name was Peg Burns, and Peg was the driving force for the first 5 years. Peg was so instrumental in working diligently and constantly for the board. She is the one that bought all the homes. We had 5 homes that we purchased within the first 5 years. One of the real success stories was Donald and James, who moved into our house on East Street.
How long have you lived in creative housing?
Since '95.
Where did you move from?
Apple Creek, mental retarded place.
And how old when you moved into creative housing?
43.
And you were how old when you moved to Apple Creek?
8 years old.
Is your home important to you, Donald?
Yes, it is. Without you guys, it wouldn't be important. Because we can do stuff together, come and go, and be independent living.
What do you like to do in your house, Donald?
Cooking and making coffee and stuff like that, and doing laundry.
What do you do in the community?
Go out and clean snow and work for people on my own. I don't have to be working for other people and being bossed around.
Do you ever want to leave your house, Donald?
No, I don't. Because I like it where I live, and that's very important that I stay there. You always fight for me and that to keep me there. And you do things to make it safe for us.
What would your life have been like without Medina Creative Housing?
It would have been like a hellhole, because I've been through it before. I've been abusive before and all, and I don't want to go through that memory like that again. I'm very happy with Diane and the organization. We like being part of creative housing.
During the second 5 years, we expanded the board. We tried to get people on that really could help us fix the houses up, do maintenance, because we didn't have any money. And we felt that if we could get people on there that had the heart that some of us did on there to try and help us to get the houses fixed up better and to do the things that were necessary, it was a tough road for us. We were able to purchase 5 more homes. We had a lot of struggles trying to maintain these homes. A lot of us were working on weekends on the houses. I had my whole family out there sometimes on the weekend, my children and myself working. We realized that we were getting in over our heads. It was tough to maintain the homes, and financially we were struggling badly. We had grown the board as far as we could go with what we were doing, but we realized that we had to get professional help in there. It was going to be a great opportunity for us to be a part of such an organization, but to think that it turned out the way it did, that after 25 years that I think you've got over 50 some homes for young people and adults. It's a miracle, and we just are so thankful that there's people that took this over and ran with it, and we're proud of what's been done, and we're proud to be a part of it. I think that people do not realize the impact that they have had by supporting Medina Creative Housing. The joy of seeing so many lives changed.
So when I joined the board, we were just starting down the path of making some changes to the complexion of the board and looking to expand from parents who had children with special needs to people with other disciplines who could bring their expertise to the table. And we also recognized certainly that we were going to need an executive director. Of course, found Diane was one of 50 people that we received resumes from, and always bubbled to the top. She had the passion and the commitment and the drive and the brilliance, clearly brilliance, and she's an idea factory, to propel us to that next level and beyond. One of the things, of course, that we were charged with was trying to figure out how we could be self-sustaining. And that's a real challenge. It sounds easy, it's an easy sentence, it's really hard to put into practice. So once I was stepped off as chairman, remained on the board, a gentleman by the name of Craig Enoch became the chair of that board. And during his tenure, we created the Financial Freedom Committee. I was involved in that. Craig, of course, was. Mike Carlson was. And we really tried to figure out ways to generate income. And that's when we started looking at grant writing and fundraising and really getting our name out in the community, letting people in the community know what we did and the value. And I guess where we really kind of advanced ourselves and certainly helped the people that we serve was our first HUD grant. And that allowed us to do some construction that was quite different, and it was wonderful for the people that we serve. Diane became the face of Medina Creative Housing. And in our effort to get our name out in the community and develop partnerships, she attended everything. She was working on developing relationships with a lot of people, a lot of organizations. And of course, at the same time, she was also helping us develop businesses that would support creative housing.
I moved from a high-rise in Wadsworth. I lived in the second floor, I think, or something like that. And I lived there for about 3 or 4 years before I moved here. It's 1 floor, and it's got 1 bedroom, a bathroom, kitchen, living room area. It's just perfect for me, and a little patio. And more handicap accessible. And we have a washer and dryer in our apartments, and I didn't have that at my previous place. And I'm so thankful that I have one and that you guys fundraised for that. They were going to come with them. Living independently is very important to me. I like living where I don't have to answer to anybody except for my dog occasionally. I just like it because it's like a family.
Almost 10 years ago, when I first heard the word creative housing, I thought in terms of creative as being something that is generally used when you're dealing with artists. It wasn't until the first board meeting that I realized that creative housing was far more than just art, but it has to do with all aspects of their life, including religion, social, employment opportunities. This board, Creative Housing, is much more creative than you can possibly imagine. At every single meeting, ideas have been brought forth, thought of it, and in fact implemented. It is varied and creative. It never seems to stop, probably never will stop.
I've been with Life Scan for 5 years. My favorite thing about Life Scan is hanging out with my friends and going on the different field trips all over in Northeast Ohio. And I've been doing therapy horseback riding for a couple years. And my favorite thing about it is getting to see all the horses, and my favorite is Twister. The horses make me happy because they're so nice to me. Especially Twister though. All because he's stubborn also. I ride in the Special Olympics horse program at Medina Creative Therapy Ranch. I've won 3 medals competing in the Special Olympics. I felt kind of proud having won the medals.
Would you like to someday live independently, like at Creative Living?
Yes, actually. I have friends at Medina Creative Housing I'd like to live with someday. There's a lot of great opportunities here and a lot of different programs, a lot of fun ones. Medina Creative Housing is fun and it can help you be more successful in the future.
What do you see your future being, Chris?
I could see myself working at a video store and having my own place for once and being in the community also.
When the Creative Therapy Ranch opened, we had a board meeting there. So then after we were done, we went into the stables and there were people taking care of these horses. There was so much love between the person that was caring for the horse and the horse. You could honestly feel it in your heart. And they took them out into the riding arena, and there was a little girl that got on just riding around, and I don't think that she was mobile in any other way than on this horse. When she got down, she said, "I could feel the air in my hair." And I just thought that was the sweetest thing. Things we take for granted on an everyday basis, and here's somebody that's so excited. Recently in Wadsworth, Creatively Tagged Boutique was open, and they not only have this upscale clothing for sale, but I stop in there because there is coffee for sale in there that's roasted by Creative Coffee. This coffee with Medina Creative Coffee is hands down even better than Blue Mountain Coffee. And Blue Mountain Coffee, I'm told, is one of the 5 top coffees in the world.
I have son Tim, who has Asperger's syndrome. He is 27 years old. I believe he has been living in Medina Creative Homes for about 10 years. Tim works at Medina Creative Coffee. He does the roasting and the grinding. He loves his job. He absolutely loves it. It suits him. It's not a lot of pressure, but it's responsibility that he's able to handle. And as far as my brother Greg, he's my older brother. I've recently become his legal guardian. We moved him from a different organization into a Medina Creative Housing home. It's day and night difference. The care that he gets there is amazing because he cannot totally live independently on his own. Greg has a lot of medical issues. Last year, before we moved Greg, he was in the hospital like 4 times last year. I think a lot of it has to do with the care that he was getting. Greg has not been in the hospital since October. He also does horseback riding, the therapeutic riding, on Thursday nights. When Greg first started riding, he was so afraid. He was afraid of the horses, he was afraid of everything. And now I go out there and he rides Liberty Bell, the draft horse, all by himself. And for my son too, Medina Creative gave him a job when he couldn't get a job. They gave him a place to live when nobody else would do that for him. And all he wanted to do was be like everybody else. And they gave him that opportunity to have his own place, to live the way he wants to live. We all want to feel needed and appreciated, and that's exactly what it has done for Tim.
My son Michael has been in a county program for the developmentally disabled for most of his life. He's over 50. He's nonverbal, but he knows words. He has good comprehension. So when I found out about Medina Creative, and I've been very, very happy since I moved him there. He's been there about 14 months now. Well, they have equine therapy, riding a horse. I never thought they'd get him on a horse, but he went right on there. They have art, they have music, which he loves. They have crafts and nature walks. There's just so much, and it's very stimulating for him, and I've noticed an improvement in his behavior, and he's very happy.
Well, it was the biggest change that ever happened in our lives. It was September of 2009, and we got a phone call, and it was Diane saying that there was a unit available. And we just started jumping around like 2 kids, literally in the kitchen like crazy. Got in the car, we were peeking around the windows, looking at all the units. And
feels like home because it's one of the models that everybody shows, so it's very important to me. I like to have it all clean, spick and span, and watch TV and play on my electronics. You get to do what you want without any parents. So yeah, and you get to do activities and whatever else they want everybody to do.
She is so proud of her job at ATD. That is her, she says, my dream come true job.
Yes, it's very important to me because I get my money.
She's so confident now. You know, she's always wanting to do better and do more, and I just can't believe the difference that that phone call made in our life. She says every day, I love my life. She tells everybody that, I love my life. She said, I love getting up and going to work, and I love the people that I live with. She loves creative housing and all that support that she has. I love my life.
I love my life because I like to live on my own. And
you know, creative housing did start 25 years ago, and it really started with a group of parents who wanted to provide housing for their children. What a noble cause. And if you would have asked them if today they knew that we would have 15 different companies or opportunities for the people in creative housing, they would have laughed at you and said, you got to be kidding. I mean, we grow lettuce, we make coffee, we man the kiosk in hospital and libraries. Pretty special opportunity for a lot of people who prior to creative housing didn't have any hope of ever achieving those things. Under Diane's tutelage and ability to get money, $7 million has come into the county. We've got 54 housing units now. But you know what? 450 people on a waiting list is terrible. And yet, trying to accommodate those 450 people, or to give them hope that we can accommodate, it's very frustrating. Because it's just not easy to generate the funds that you need in order to achieve that. But what we can do is look back and say we've come great strides, and also can share that there's more to come, because we're going to continue to try to everyone's ability to not only maintain the programs that are currently in place, but expand them to give others who have been patiently waiting the opportunity to be part of not just the program, it's a lifestyle, it's a life changer. I think in the years to come you'll see that creative housing will continue to focus on housing, because that's our main mission. But we've also expanded programs, and we're going to continue to do that. Our transition program is now in place where kids are going to go to college. Who would have believed that there was an opportunity for that? Yet there is. We wouldn't be where we are without people who care about other people. And to all of you who have helped, God bless you.
Thank you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. Ashley's thankful. I mean, when we say our prayers at night, we thank God for the blessing of creative housing, creative employment.
Thank you for the community and for what they do, and for especially all Medina Creative Housing employees, that they are awesome people. Thank you, thank you, thank you from the bottom of my heart. It's awesome. Without you guys, we would not be here.
Thank them a lot. It's very important that we keep the house and stay there.